I look myself in the mirror. I have a lot of things fat around my stomach, skinny muscles. I had no ambition, no energy whatsoever. I was tired all the time. My health is certainly very, very deteriorating. And I just kept getting fatter and fatter while also looking really, really skinny at the same time because I was skinny fat. Skinny fat means a lack of muscle mass to fat ratio, and it kind of looks weird and disproportionate. So I had really wide hips and it looked like the hourglass in a woman, but what? I started, I didn't have any like pecs or anything or any of this, so I thought I was developing gynecomastia, gyno. I look at I look at my general just self. I feel weak. I feel really weak, even though I shouldn't be, right? Because I thought, oh, but when you start to get older and older and older and older, your testosterone starts to spike. But I didn't know what happened in my environment, surroundings, the area around me, which controlled a lot of what happened. And then I discovered something very shocking, scary. Men, young men especially from the ages of 13 to 25, are developing higher levels of estrogen. Now, estrogen is a hormone which men and females produce. Females primarily produce more estrogen, but men only produce a slight bit amount. And what happens when the estrogen starts to spike and spike and spike? Well, testosterone decreases, it takes a huge hit. Testosterone takes a huge hit and drops like crazy when there's higher levels amount of estrogen. Like crazy, crazy drops. And listen, estrogen is technically necessary for both men and female, but when you give men when you give men more estrogen, you lower their testosterone, you literally weaken them. Dude, estrogen has literally been shown to cause gynecomastia and all these issues within men, and men especially. The thing is, estrogen and endocrine disruptors are practically everywhere. This shirt I'm wearing has polyester, the air I breathe, plastics, gas. The soap I use, endocrine disruptor. The food I eat, endocrine disruptor. Practically everything around is an endocrine disruptor. Those fragrances, endocrine disruptor. They have parabens, which has literally been shown to be an endocrine disruptor, which messes with your hormones naturally. Right? And there are many, many, many things around you that are still probably causing you estrogen. The receipts you touch at registers at stores, endocrine disruptor. There's so much BPA on the hand sanitizer, endocrine disruptor. Plastic you touch, endocrine disruptor. It's literally been rising and rising and rising, where men are literally becoming more feminine. It's because of our environment. It's because of our environment. If you look around your room, you could probably name at least 5 things in about 30 seconds, let alone 10 seconds, that have plastic. Or maybe it's your device. Because wireless headphones produce EMFs, which will also do stuff. Listen, men today are now weaker than ever, more feminine than ever, higher levels of estrogen to testosterone ratio. And this is scary. This is very, very, very scary. This is the epidemic. I mean, seriously, doesn't that scare you a little bit? Well, you have 500 nanograms of testosterone, nanograms per deciliter of testosterone. Future wives thinking about the guy who's fertile. 1000 nanograms per deciliter plus. That means she's getting pulled away. And you can't do anything about it because your test levels are too low. Too low. And you can't really do anything because your environment also predicts and controls what type of testosterone levels you have. And you can't do anything about it. Even the water you drink, even if it's tap water, there's a hormone called atrazine. Atrazine has been shown to literally turn frogs. This is crazy. And guess what? The government allows the legal amount 30,000, 3,000 technically, somewhere around that range, per milliliters of atrazine in their water. And technically this experiment with frogs and atrazine was done with somewhere around 2,800, 280. Do you understand how frightening that is? That we are consuming atrazine that literally turns men more feminine, everybody. I mean, my friend Dirk, he's jacked. But see, here's the thing. Here's the issue with the entire the cure to the estrogen epidemic. The cure or safety is by increasing testosterone to combat estrogen. You see, once you increase testosterone, estrogen decreases. So, with that logic, if we increase our testosterone as much as possible, we lower estrogen as much as we can, and we try and save our generation from what's gonna happen. It's already happening. Sperm counts, fertility rates have all been declining at a rapid pace. Testosterone levels have decreased by 50% in the past 20 years. 20 years. So now the average is considered 270 to 900. Our caveman ancestors, the gladiators and the hunter-gatherers, had 1,000 nanograms per deciliter of testosterone, and that was considered average. They didn't have the endocrine disruptors we have. They breathed fresh, pure air. They were outside for a long, long time. Obesity rates and the diabetes were much, much lower back then too. It was very, very peaceful. So, what can we actually do about it? Because the endocrine disruptors, all the plastic and everything, we can't really do much about controlling endocrine disruptors, no matter how hard you try. In one area, there's an endocrine disruptor which massively decreases your testosterone. So, the first thing, and this is very, very important, it's heavy compound lifts, specifically squat, bench, deadlift. It's been shown in research studies with heavy compound lifts, you get somewhere around a 20% spike in your testosterone. Think about it. A 20% increase. So if you have 1,000 and you get a 20% increase, that's massive. If you have 400 nanograms per deciliter and you go up by 20%, maybe it's not so much, but you still go up by 20%. So heavy compound lifts, squat, bench, deadlift. Don't listen to these steroid head bodybuilders or these meatheads or bodybuilders who tell you, oh, but if you bench and you flat bench, you're gonna mess up your shoulder. If you're not ego lifting and you're doing 1 to 3 reps, you're not gonna hurt yourself, bro. As long as you control the weight up and down, you're fine. You're not gonna hurt yourself. Deadlift 2, don't ego lift. Squat 2, don't ego lift. If you're not ego lifting, you'll be fine, bro. Trust me. Now the second thing. The second thing is 3 to 8 eggs a day. Eggs have what's called is cholesterol. Now a lot of fat obese doctors are gonna say cholesterol and fat is really, really, really bad for you. It isn't, bro. I'm much healthier than a lot of doctors who tell you, oh, don't eat cholesterol, don't eat eggs. They can't even run a mile in under 10 minutes. They're not even healthy themselves. And they have health issues. They have health issues, bro. So 3 to 8 eggs a day. If you want a surplus of cholesterol, which will even give you a higher increase in testosterone, add some butter to the eggs, cook it. Cook it whatever way. Scrambled, it doesn't really matter. Eat it. Just eat. Literally, by the night when you try to go to bed, you notice a couple of signs that you have higher testosterone. It's because of the eggs. Literally, test this out. Test this out. Figure it out for yourself. Now, butter, like I mentioned earlier, has a good amount of cholesterol and fat, which is actually good for you. Don't get the bad version of butter. Make sure it's just organic grass-fed. Organic grass-fed butter, ideally wrapped in tin foil or glass. Glass, bro. How are you gonna get it wrapped in glass? Anyway, you could also get ghee. For those of you who know, ghee is basically the Indian version of butter. It tastes pretty good. Honestly, it's not tasting like the best, but it tastes like cheese, basically. and ideally they're in glass, which is actually really helpful for this case. So just butter or ghee, apply that on what you eat. In terms of supplements, there's many different supplements out there. Test booster 500, test max or 500, test booster, whatever. There's many supplements out there. I'm not lying to you, bro. However, I'm not sponsored, but any vitamin D3 supplement is really good. Fish oil is good as well, among a couple of other things like ashwagandha. There's a couple of supplements you can look online. For example, Saber. Me personally, I've never taken it before, but I'm highly considering it, and you should probably too. It has all the things that are necessary for testosterone production. So, listen, again, I'm not sponsoring Saber or affiliated with Saber. I'm just saying, bro, it's a pretty good supplement to start with if you want to combat the estrogen rise. Now, stress, when you're stressed at a high level of stress, you increase something called cortisol. When your cortisol spikes, your testosterone decreases. So watch your stress. Do some things about it. You could take some supplements, whatever. Sleep. Really basic. 7 to 9 hours each night. And just make sure you sleep in well quality too. If you want to join a brotherhood full of strong men, click the first link in the description. Subscribe if you want more self-improvement content, bro. Welcome to our brotherhood.